and welcome here to TalkFCB, and welcome back to the channel here today, guys, where we are back for plenty more Barca news coming your way, because there are plenty of things happening right now at the club. It's going to be a really busy end to the month, I feel. We're already starting to see a few departures coming through, and we've got the full transfer update coming up for you today, along with an update too on Marc Bernal's recovery. That's something really exciting there, and of course, the latest on Nico Williams. There's always something happening there, and we are going to discuss it right here today. So get yourselves ready, and let's do this. But if we do indeed begin, guys, with the really exciting official breaking news from the club today, and that is indeed that we will be returning to the Spotify Camp Nou officially. We spoke about it a few days ago. The Barca had put in the application. They had applied there for the return for the Joan Gamba Trophy, and it has been approved. August the 10th. That is the date. That's the one there to mark on your calendar. You know, do people still have calendars these days? If you have, mark it, because I'm really excited, I've got to say. Looking today at the promo the club released there, great little video with Joan Laporta, and I just think it really hits home, you know. We're going to be back there. It is actually going to happen. We've waited so long. There have been setbacks along the way. That build has, been progressing slowly but surely. But we are finally going to return home, and it's going to be amazing. It is genuinely going to be one of the best signings of the summer, really, to go back to the stadium that we all know so well, that we have so many happy memories in. And of course, now it's going to be time to make some more. But indeed, guys, if we do move on here to start talking about a few transfer updates, I want to start by talking about Ferran Jutgla. Remember him? He was somebody who I think a lot of us were actually disappointed when he left the club, because Barca, in their typical fashion, they just gave him away. They handed him over, really, to Club Brugge, where he went on to do very well, actually. And now at 26 years old, Ferran Jutgla, he's back in La Liga. He is now signed with Celta Vigo for €5 million. And the reason why I'm telling you all of this, it's not just because I'm giving you useless information. This is relevant here to Barca, because again, we are going to pocket a little slice of that fee. It's not going to be anything extraordinary by any means, but from that there, Barca will have 10% of any profit made by Club Brugge. So it's not actually 10% on the whole fee, it's 10% on the profit that they've made. Meaning that in the end, Barca are probably going to make around €200,000 from this deal, which, hey, it's not mega money. I mean, to be honest with that, you probably couldn't afford, the best players in the world for just 1 week on their weekly wages. But at the end of the day, every little helps, and it's a bit more in our transfer kitty. I do, though, guys, want to give you an update, though, on Marc Bernal before we do continue with the transfers here, because the media are reporting here the club's timeline, basically, when it comes to Bernal's recovery, first of all, then pre-season, and then his eventual return to action. And I think we're all very excited about Marc Bernal, the player that he is, the potential, certainly, that he's had, and his recovery right now looks very positive, because obviously he has been out since way back in December of 2024. It was a very serious knee injury, damage there to not only his ACL, but also his meniscus. That cut short his entire season before it really had a chance to get started, because don't forget, he was so good in pre-season there. He was absolutely perfect in that midfield for Hansi Flick, and Flick was loving him, so much so that he started games in La Liga in the new campaign, and he was absolutely magnificent there. So cruel that all of that got cut short, but we are hearing right now Bernal's recovery is going well. He's actually going to shorten his vacation this summer to get back at the club and continue his recovery to be back in the best possible condition, and he has been doing really well mentally as well. That's really important for such a young player here to miss so much time. He's kept himself in good spirits. The club have helped him as well. Hansi Flick too has been vital in that, and he's also been doing a considerable amount of gym work over all of these months as well. So he's been working there on strengthening other areas of his body and just making himself a more complete and physically complete player. And the main forecast right now is that Marc Bernal will receive the medical green light at the beginning of August. So actually, a little bit earlier than we were expecting, because right now, all that we've heard with Bernal over the past few months is it might be September, might even not be until October. That would have really dragged things on a bit, a year or more out. But we're hearing now, at the start of August, he may get that medical green light, which means that we are going to be building things up for him here throughout pre-season. But much like with Gavi, that's the perfect example here, unfortunately, given you spent so much time out, a year on the side sidelines, away from football. It is going to take time to get back into the swing of things there, to recapture that full match sharpness, especially the kind of sharpness that you need to play in this Barca team, in this Hansi Flick team. So Bernal is going to take some time. A few months after that, he'll be right at top gear. But it'll be great to see him back, and when he is back, I still expect him to be part of this Flick team. He really rates him highly. He can be a key part of our midfield, and he's definitely a player that you do not want to forget about. However though, guys, we do now move from one very exciting young midfielder to another. But unfortunately, this is one here that has simply not worked out at Barca. We spoke recently about Noah Darvich, about the fact that his future this summer seemed very, very uncertain. And now it has been confirmed he will be leaving the club. Noah Darvich this summer will return to Germany and he will officially join Stuttgart in the coming days there. It's a deal that's done now. It's a deal that's fully agreed. And I'm quite disappointed, actually, that it didn't work out for him. Maybe we didn't see him get a few more opportunities in the role that was most natural for him. I think during his entire time at Barca, he was never really properly utilised the way that we've seen him really impress in the German youth teams there. He's been so good. We didn't really see that same player in the colours of Barca. And I think what's also disappointing here is not just that it didn't work out, not just here that Noah Darvich is going to be leaving the club, but also, again, you're questioning the deal from Barca's side. You're questioning here, have we got the most out of this potential exit? Because he's still a very talented player. He's still very, very young. But what we're hearing right now is that Stuttgart, they're going to pay barely anything to sign Noah Darvich. We are going to let him go here for a very, very small fee. And not just that, it's not just about the here and now. It's not just about money that we maybe bring in just this moment, but also in terms of the future. We've got nothing in this deal here. There is absolutely no buyback clause included in the contract, and there's also no matching rights for Barca, because sometimes when you sell a player, you actually leave in there that your club will have priority. If an offer comes in the future, you will have the chance to match it. Barca don't have that either, so they've got no buyback. Nothing at all here links us anymore to Noah Darvich, and I think the concern would be, what if he goes away and he explodes back in the Bundesliga? We've seen so many players impress. There's so many players then really their value will rocket up. And I just hope this is a deal that we don't look back on with regret, with feelings there that we acted maybe a bit too soon. We acted a little bit cheaply here, sending him away for a very small fee. Is it the right decision? Only time will tell, but the best of luck here to Noah Darvich. Then indeed, guys, from one departure, we do indeed move to another one that has been now officially confirmed. Ansu Fati will join Monaco. It is now a here we go deal. And I think Barca, what you will notice here in the final days of June is that they are quite desperate to get things over the line. They want to make sure that all of these sales, loans, departures, whatever they are, they want them in this year's financial accounts. Their financial year ends at the end of June, so they want to cram everything they possibly can, every saving, into these final days of the month. And with Ansu right now, we are reportedly hearing it's going to be a loan deal. There is going to be the option in there, though, for Monaco to actually purchase him outright. Now, that is reportedly going to be for just 11 million euros. So Monaco right now are taking on the responsibility. We don't know how much of those Ansu wages they're going to have, whether it's all of them, whether it's some of them. I think more likely here, it's going to be quite a lot, but maybe not all of the wages, and they will hold that 11 million euro buy option. What do you make of that, guys? What do you make of that fee there? Is that fair? Is that enough if they were to go on to purchase him? Because then we are hearing that if they were to activate that buy clause, if they were to buy him permanently, Barca would then have a 28 million euro buyback option. So if that happened there, that Monaco bought Ansu, if he then went on to really impress, we could buy him back for the agreed 28 million, which is quite a lot more than 11 million. If he goes away for a year, Monaco buy him, then he really impresses, explodes. We would have to pay then basically 17 million more then to get him back to our club. But Barca will also hold a percentage of any future transfer fee. So that could maybe help to bring any future fee down if it comes down to it. And we're also hearing that before leaving, Ansu will actually renew his contract at Barca. He'll extend for one more year until 2028. And once again, that's important from an FFP point of view. Spreading those wages, that contract, across another year, it brings down the cost cost basis year by year, and we have seen this tactic deployed by Barca on a number of occasions when it comes to improving FFP, especially in the short term. You know, if you get to the latter stage of that deal, the long term it can actually prove to be quite tricky, as we've seen with several players. But here and now, Barca trying to move Ansu on, they have done. But is it a good deal? Do you like this deal here? Sending Ansu away, 11 million buy option apparently for Monaco. These figures, they could change, you know, they're not absolutely set in stone. And with that reported 28 million euro buyback, do you like this deal or do you not? But indeed, guys, for sure, I know a deal that you will like. I know a deal that you will like, you know, as soon as it happens, at least. Because let's talk here more about Nico Williams and what is going on with this deal right now. Because can I just add, actually, something that we spoke about in the last video there when we were talking about Athletic accepting installments from Bayern, but not from Barca. And I want to mention here another detail that could sort of add to that whole situation. Because reportedly, last summer, when Nico agreed to stay at Athletic, they actually told him that in future there, in terms of that clause, they would in future accept installments from a club that was interested in him. So it's very, very possible here that Athletic this summer have actually gone back on their word in saying that Barca cannot pay in installments. They want the money outright. They want it all in one. Have they gone back on a previous agreement that they made with Nico? Well, let's not forget, out of the goodness of his heart, he stayed for one more year. He really did give it everything. He gave them one extra year when he didn't have to do that. And have they now gone back on that agreement with him? But anyway, guys, the big news right here is that Nico Williams, regardless of the situation, he has now told Athletic, I'm going. I am going to be leaving the club this summer. He has now officially communicated that decision to them, which is really, really important. They are now fully aware he's going. He is not going to be staying at the club this summer. And Nico apparently is already preparing a farewell video. So we're very, very well advanced there on his exit from Athletic Club. So many people now will be saying, well, when are we going to pay the clause? Why haven't we done it yet? It's a quite simple process with the release clause. You go with the money, you pay it, it's done. What are Barca waiting for? Why have they not done it yet? People are understandably being a bit impatient. And the reason for that is because so many of us Barca fans, we're very, very excited. We're eager to make this deal happen. So why hasn't it yet? Well, let me just explain here. Because of the nature of a release clause, you know, like I say, the money has to be paid immediately. You can't just go and sort of stagger the payments. You have to take all of that money to La Liga and effectively buy the player out of their contract. And because of that, Barca don't want to do it yet. Like I've just spoke about there, they want sales, they want savings from an FFP point of view, they want all of those in the final days of the month here before the end of their financial year. But what they don't want is a massive signing in those final days. They don't want to add that here to the year that we've just had. They'd rather put that in next year and plan then accordingly for that. So Barca here, they are purposefully waiting. Because sometimes with Barca and big transfers, you can think, well, what are they actually doing? Do they know what they're doing? Are they in control of this situation? But on this occasion, I would say, they do know what they're doing. They do have a plan, and that is to wait very patiently and try and get everybody else to be patient here until the very beginning of July. Now, when July strikes, I'd expect them to act. That is when they can go ahead, they can pay the release clause, it's done, it's going to be simple, it's going to happen overnight, it's going to be a very, very quick process, we all hope, and all parties want this done. They want it wrapped up, that release clause situation, before pre-season gets underway. And everybody wants that because Barca, they want to get the deal done. They want to get the player there in our colours. Now, Nico, he doesn't want to be in a position where he's got to go back to Athletic. You know, he's told them now, I want to leave. I want to be gone from this club. The last thing that he wants is to have to turn up to their pre-season. You know, that would be very awkward. That would not be a position there that we want to put the player in. And of course, what he also wants is to get started here at Barca. He wants to arrive on July the 13th with the rest of his new teammates and get started under Hansi Flick. So right now, I think everything is going according to plan. Barca right now are doing what they need to do in these final days of the month. They're waiting here until July strikes, and then we will see the release clause of Nico Williams paid in full. If we have to pay it all, if we still can't come to any agreement there about installments, Barca will take the 62 million to La Liga and they will sign Nico Williams as a new Barcelona player. So that there, guys, is the full update right now on what is going on with transfers. Like I say, I would expect these to be pretty busy days to end the month. Any deals that we can get done, particularly departures, they are going to be the priority. But please do let me know in the comments down below here, what do you make of our plan to sign Nico Williams? What do you make here of the exits of Noah Darvich and Ansu Fati? And also let me know your thoughts on Marc Bernal ahead of pre-season. I will see all of you very, very soon indeed with all of the latest updates, but thank you indeed for the fantastic support. But until next time, as always, Veshka, Barça.